Welcome to this short paper video. In this paper we investigate the impact of multiple parallel phrase suggestions in a user study in the context of writing emails with such a suggestion system, and we compare native and non-native English writers in the use of this system with different UI parameters. We created a text editor prototype that uses a neural language model to generate text suggestions while the user is typing an email. As you can see here, it is possible to select suggestions with the mouse, but we also supported keyboard-based selection with tab, arrow keys, and enter. Suggestions had a length of up to 4 words, and in this example we display 6 suggestions at a time. We compared different numbers of suggestions. As you can see here, we compared having no suggestions and 1, 3, and 6 suggestions. We also looked at language proficiency, comparing native English speakers to non-native English speakers. For our user study, we recruited 156 participants using the online platform Prolific. We asked them to write 4 emails each, and for these writing tasks we used 4 scenarios, which were fully counterbalanced in both order and combination with the 4 suggestion conditions. So let's take a look at the results. We found that showing more parallel suggestions increases their acceptance rate, more so for non-native than native speakers. Moreover, showing more suggestions leads to fewer cases where users modified a suggestion after accepting it. Showing more than one suggestion also increased the number of suggestion words in the final emails. Non-native speakers overall included more suggestion words than the native speakers. And as can be expected, showing more suggestions increased the time it took people to make their selection among these lists. Looking at time, showing 6 suggestions resulted in longer task times compared to no suggestions and 1 suggestion. And finally, the email length was rather stable across the different suggestion numbers. We also looked at patterns of engagement with suggestions based on a hidden Markov model analysis. And we found varying levels of engagement with suggestions, varying both within and between users. For instance, on the one hand, we have focused typing, manual typing without checking suggestions, without using suggestions. Then we have intermittent use of suggestions, where people combine their own typing with some suggestions in between. And on the other hand, we have chaining suggestions where people combine multiple suggestions in a row. This analysis further revealed impact of suggestions and different suggestion numbers on actions. So in general, we found these 3 types of actions relating to text production, navigation, and revision, and different numbers of suggestions impact on these actions and their frequencies. For instance, if we show more suggestions, this generally leads to more actions being spent on navigation, for example, navigating the list of suggestions. As a conclusion and takeaways, our findings particularly motivate these 3 things. So first, we may explore a larger variety of UI parameters than considered previously with regard to the suggestion UIs. So for example, we could try to move beyond suggesting just 1 phrase or 3 single words, which is the current default in many such systems. Second, we could explore design goals beyond efficiency. So use suggestions not just to save keystrokes or time, but for example to also support ideation or language learning. And third and finally, we may consider user groups and specific user groups and their needs and preferences in this context more explicitly, as motivated in this particular case for user groups with different language proficiencies.